Here's a quick guide on how to use this asset. Start by creating a folder for your own game's content. Next, navigate to the Narration Event System, Command-click Unit, Scenes directory, and open up the example scene. Choose File, Save As, and save this into your own project directory. This will just give us a basic scene to move a player around. Now drag in a narrator prefab from the prefabs directory. This must be on the root level of the hierarchy so that it can persist between scenes. Now create an empty game object to contain all the narration events. Then drag a narration event prefab into this game object from the prefabs directory. Now in your project, create a new folder to contain all the text audio prompts. Then inside it, right-click and choose Create New Text Audio Prompt. It's a good idea to name this something meaningful, relating to the prompt it will display. With this new text audio prompt selected, fill out its text field in the inspector. This is where the UI will get its data from. You can also assign an audio file to play while the prompt is displayed. For now, you can simply use the included ham radio bloop sound effect in the audio folder. Now select your narration event in the hierarchy and assign your text audio prompt to the narration clip array. To make it easier, you can press on the padlock icon up the top right of the inspector to lock it and prevent it from changing as you navigate the project. In later versions of Unity, you can also right-click and choose Properties to pop out a new floating inspector window for the selected object. You can set the options on the narration event to play on start, with an optional delay to test it out. As you can see, we heard the prompt, but we have yet to add the UI element to display out text on screen. You can find an example UI panel in the demo folder under UI. You can drag this into the hierarchy, but this will need to be inside of a canvas. In the hierarchy, create a new canvas and set the options how you wish. But in this example, we set the canvas render mode to Screen Space Overlay and the canvas scaler to scale with screen size, and enter 1920 by 1080 for the reference resolution. You can now create your own UI panel, but I suggest you use the one from the demo scene to first get an understanding of how it works. Make sure the narration UI prefab is under the canvas, set its rect transform to stretch, and set its scale to 1. Check the script attached to it still has all the references maintained. Now, if you press play once more and still do not see the UI panel, it may be because it is not registering for the event. This is easily fixed by fixing the script's execution order. Navigate to Edit, Project Settings, and under the Script Execution Order section, press the plus button and add both the narrator script and the narrator UI script, ensuring the UI one comes last. Now, pressing play, we can see our prompt fires playing the sound and displaying the UI panel. Now we can have some fun adding more events. Simply duplicate an existing event and create a new text audio prompt for it. This one is going to be a delayed message. Fill out the text and assign the sound effect. Then replace the narration clip and alter the initial delay value. In this next example, we'll create a prompt that triggers when the player walks into it. Again, duplicate an existing narration event, rename it, create a new text audio prompt, and assign it to the narration clip array. Then uncheck play on start. Set the initial delay to 0, tick use trigger volume, and make sure that the attached collider is enabled also. It does not matter where in the scene you place your narration events, for ones that trigger off of a delay, for example, but it is still a good idea to reset the transform on the group object. Now, for this trigger volume narration event, we can place it in the scene where it should be. Here I am just using a cube as a guide to see which corner I need to move to, and hit play to test. We can see the first two events trigger and then disable themselves, but the trigger volume event didn't fire. If this happens, check that the player is tagged as player, that they have a rigid body component attached, and that it is set to is kinematic. You may also have to check that if the player's collider is a child object, it too is tagged as player. Now we have all three events working correctly. Refer to the demo scene for more examples.